All right, I'm gonna go take a very quick bio break while we wait for people to arrive. So I'll be right back. Or grab my manual markers out. Slides up. All right, how was day one of contact making? Mitch, did you get through some contacts and start spreading the word?
I have not yet. Yesterday was bombarded with all the onboarding stuff, so I didn't get a chance to sit down and do that.
That makes sense. Okay, well, there's still time of the day left in the day too.
Yeah.
Emily, what about you? How's everything going?
Good. I think going through this, we're so rural out where we are, it's definitely going to look different. And so I'm focusing more on like online advertising, getting signs up, promoting me that way to the people that I know, like Facebook posts, because it's just going to be so different because we're not in such a heavy populated city. So I was going to focus more on the cards, like handwriting letters to get out to people that I know.
Excellent. And Janisa, you wanna you're muted, but you can unmute yourself and update us on how your business is going as well.
I actually just came back. I came back in April from out of the country. I start do open house more and more to uh connect with the new clients, and I also hanging on the door to my neighbor and let them know that hello neighbor, I am realtor. I'm a realtor as well. So that's what I have done so far.
Awesome, great. I'm gonna email you guys out the um material for today as well. So I will put that in your inbox right now. Just give me one moment. Oh, that one. All right. New student manual, session one. All right. Here we go. And that way you can either print this out or just follow along. There'll be some like questions to answer and stuff like that. So if you don't have it printed out in front of you, you might want just like a notebook or something to like take notes on, because it will be fairly interactive. And it'll look like this in your inbox from that attachment. Okay. Today's day 1. So anytime we have an Ignite course, you'll have Ignite material that goes with it. And then the other days, and let me backtrack a little bit. The first week's going to look a little bit different. First and last week's are a little bit more heavier leaning on the Ignite courses. There's 20 Ignite courses out of the 38 classes that we do. Sometimes people refer to the program as a whole as Ignite. It's not. Ignite is a portion of the classes that we go through, and then as the productivity coaching program, we dive in a little bit deeper on the other days specifically to implement some of those things that we're learning. So if you're not in the coaching program as well, it's good to set some time for implementation in between those classes. But most weeks, Monday and Wednesday will be Ignite courses, and Tuesday and Thursday will be the productivity coaching courses, but it's a little bit different the first and last weeks. So today is an Ignite course open to anyone. Ignite is a really great training when we're starting our business, but it is also not just for new agents. It's geared towards anyone who's not consistently closing at least 16 units a year, because the activities it focuses on are really geared towards increasing production and getting those really strong foundation in place. So today will be day 1 of that. And then this is kind of how they envision that calendar being built out. They used to have 12 like 3-hour classes, and we shortened it, but made more classes, so 20 instead of 12 classes, but they shortened the content so that you can really focus on the implementation and lead generation in your schedule. So they ideally would like you to spend about 2 hours making those 10 contacts, adding 10 contacts to your database, writing those 10 handwritten notes, doing the follow-up for your lead generation, those type of activities that are going to really help as you get your business started. So these are kind of like the breakdown of the different 20 classes as well and their focus. This is an overview of today's agenda. Kind of expanding that thinking, starting to think like a real estate agent, and then going over some of the KW resources, our KW culture, your vision for your career, and then those daily success systems that we talked about. This is a great quote from Gary Keller. Okay. And then these are the 6 personal perspectives that Gary Keller has focused a lot of his business success on. Part of this, the first one, is what you guys are doing, committing to self-mastery. So as all of you are fairly newly licensed, and you've realized that the licensing course doesn't teach you everything that you need to know. So coming to these courses, coming to the classes, really diving in is your commitment to yourself to growing your business. The second one, commit to the 80-20 principle. That idea behind it is that 20% of the activities that we do are going to equal 80% of our results. So we don't want to spend so much time building our website or creating our business cards or doing these other things that aren't lead gen or income producing activities, because our real 20% of our activity should give us those 80% of our results, right? Like making our contacts, building out our database, implementing the things that we talked about in our 1-3-5 yesterday. Third, moving from E to P. So what that means is entrepreneurial to purposeful. We all typically got in this business because there's some part of us that is entrepreneurial. And so we have these great ideas and we get really excited about building out something new, but we do need to get purposeful. And Gary Keller says a lot recently, some of the biggest, strongest businesses are actually really boring because you're just doing those same activities that you should be doing on a consistent basis, on a regular basis. Make being learning based the foundation of your action plan. Remove your limiting beliefs. So we'll talk about that some. And then be accountable, and having an accountability partner to make sure that you're staying on track can be a really beneficial thing as well. Sure, I'm not missing anything it really wants me to. So Ignite's going to really focus in on each of these things that we are talking about. So committing to self-mastery, knowing your goals, know your strengths and weaknesses. I talked to a lot of you about the fact that some people are going to be really great cold callers. Some other people will never make a cold call in their entire business, and both are okay because we really just want to build on what you are strong at. So knowing how to work with both your strengths and weaknesses to seek and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. Talked about this. This talks about that entrepreneurial approach and how you sometimes will hit like a ceiling. So sometimes you'll meet real estate agents that are like, oh, it will seem like it falls into their lap, but they'll hit a ceiling of achievement, right? Just by naturally being outgoing or having a good sphere of influence or having clients, they can kind of fake their way through being a business owner. And they might do 8 transactions and then 10 transactions and then 9 transactions year after year. And what that is they are bouncing up against their natural ceiling of achievement. So in order to break past that to get to maybe 15 transactions or 20 transactions, they have to be more focused and put these models and systems in place in order to get to that next level of success. When we don't, and we get frustrated. So we might hit that natural ceiling of achievement and we might experience disappointment. And that's where you'll see people go, well, maybe I'll go become a lender, or maybe I'll get into escrow, or maybe I'll go back and get a job. It's because they're getting frustrated and they haven't put a system and plan in place. And this is making learning based the foundation of your plan. Albert Einstein, I am neither especially clever nor especially gifted. I am only very, very curious. So unlimiting beliefs would be when you unlimit your thinking, you unlimit your success. Limiting beliefs would be, I don't know if I have enough time. I can't be successful in this market. I can't devote 3 hours each day to lead generation, right? Those are kind of little things that we tell ourselves that put a damper on what we can do. So, and then being accountable. If you ever end up taking bold in the future, you'll hear the bold belief is you can have reasons or results, but you can't have both. So that's kind of what this highlights, right? If we don't ask questions and we kind of just stay in our bubble, then we aren't seeking reality versus seeking reality and being aware of our situation. Fights reality. Number 2, denial. So that's not the way it is. That's not how I see it. That's your perception. So acknowledges reality would be the other side of that, right? This is the way it is. I've got it. I'll see what's going on. Playing the blame game versus owning your part in it. Making excuses versus focusing on finding solutions, right? Like maybe I'm feeling like I'm being torn in 2 different directions for my focus. Okay, well, how can you master your calendar to time block for the things that you should be focusing on? Waits and hopes versus gets on with it. So resignation under that weights and hopes category. If it wasn't meant to be, it'll happen. Time will tell. It's out of my hands. So like not taking your own accountability versus like, let me start with a plan. Time's up. Let's go. This is what I will do. So being accountable. Getting out of that victim mentality. Sean Achor is one of my favorite authors. He wrote The Happiness Advantage, and then he wrote, I think it's Big Potential, and both were really great books, but happiness is not an individual sport, right? So where you surround yourself or who you surround yourself with and where you put yourself can make a big difference. Sometimes if agents are really struggling, I tell them like either find an accountability partner to get with a few times a week or a couple times a week to kind of like focus on what you can control in your business, or come into the office, or like you just sometimes have to change your environment. So culture, some of this you may have seen talk of as you've just joined the family, but we really do pour into our culture within Keller Williams. We just had Red Day last week. All of the Keller Williams across the country shut our doors and went and volunteered together. We do have a DEI like division and committee. Part of our committee is kind of like in Eugene, it's part of our culture committee is a DEI section of it as well. KW Cares is our nonprofit where agents can donate out of each of their commissions or outside of that. And it steps up if we ever have like an agent with cancer or have some sort of life tragedy, they can pull from those funds. We also see it come in a big way as far as like when we had hurricanes or the flooding in Texas, wildfires, they will disband help for those bigger things as well. So all of this is definitely kind of just a example of how our culture shines through giving and focusing on making sure we're whole as humans, not just focusing on business. So MVVBP stands for Mission, Vision, Values, Beliefs, and Perspectives. Most business owners will spend some time thinking about what this means for them and their business. So Keller Williams has an MVVBP, but then you each will come through with one in your business as well as you're building out your business. If you don't have one yet, like when you are making your listing presentations or your buyer presentations, these slides will typically be in there, and you can use Keller Williams as well until you kind of create your own, as long as it's in alignment with what you would want your business to stand for, right? So our mission is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. So you'll see a lot of our training, a lot of our belief system kind of feed into that mission statement. Our belief system, and you'll hear some of this come up when we're talking about negotiations or working with clients, win-win or no deal, right? So you don't feel that same culture within Keller Williams where it's like, oh, we've got to be better than them, or we've got to beat them, or we need our client to feel like they win and they lose. It's more of, okay, how can we work together so each party feels like they're winning or getting something out of this, right? To see it to the end. Integrity, doing the right thing. Customers always come first, right? That's kind of just that customer service based mentality. Commitment in all things, so like showing up when you say you're going to show up. Communication, seek first to understand. So sometimes like we might get a call from an agent that seems really angry or seems really frustrated, or we're not understanding why they're approaching us the way it is. And so oftentimes if we go, okay, stop, seek first to understand, let me ask questions, right? Let me see where their perspective is coming from. Creativity, ideas before results, teamwork, together everyone achieves more, right? There's enough business to go around for everyone. Trust starts with honesty. Equity, so opportunities for all, and then success results through people. Red Day, we kind of talked about this. Okay, KW value. So these are just some of our awards that we have been awarded as Keller Williams, which Keller Williams is proud of, as they should be. It can be a top workplace for females, world's best employers, top franchise for veterans. These are all pretty cool things that Keller Williams has underneath its belt. Some of these programs are what you'll utilize daily for accessing. So for instance, if you ever wanted to go order your, like Emily, you might not want to come to the office and print out the thing. So if you want to go online and order an Ignite binder, you could. They have those there in that, as well as a bunch of other like training materials, class recordings, stuff like that. I'm gonna close out of this just so I can like show you a moment. Oops. Okay, there you are. So if you went to KW Connect, your login's the same login as if you went into Command. So it's going to be the same as if you were logging into Command. And then there is a little tab on the top that says Connect. So you can go there. And there is a ton of like training materials, courses that you can take online. So this virtual classroom, it's going to teach you different technology things, right? Like if you were trying to create a custom page, understanding the contact record, enabling your task notifications. So anything that you're trying to like learn, filtering your database, command and mobile app, there's like a ton of training on here.
What's the Ignite binder that you mentioned?
Okay, so that's going to be all of the classes materials, like what I emailed, but then it's like
Oh, okay.
in a binder. So you go to university course. You can purchase course materials. And then you can order the Ignite student manual for $42. It comes like in a spiral bound binder. You can also print them for free just from me emailing them to you. Either one's optional, but that makes it kind of easy to keep it together as you go through too. But that can be fun. Okay, let's go back to your slideshow, see where we were. Command, well, Mitch, you probably haven't done your new agent tech orientation yet, right?
No, so I have orientation this Thursday and then the tech
Yeah.
one the next Thursday.
Perfect. Okay. So when you get all set up, that will be part of what you do. And I mean, you were on for Stacy's class yesterday. So everything that you really need kind of in this Command Hub library, like this little paintbrush, you can create listing presentations, business cards, flyers, buyer consultation packets, like everything can kind of be designed, social media posts on there as well. And then opportunities, this handshaking is where you'll submit all of your documents for principal broker review. You can run ads through this little listing sign here. So pretty much kind of like all integrated into this one place. And then there's an app that you can also download that you'll sign in that same way. So you can get reminders on there, like if it's, if you've put birthdays in your contacts, then you can see on your app whose birthday it is. You can also add contacts. So if you're like out and about meeting someone, you could put them directly into your Command app.
Yeah, the Command app on the phone, right? That's what you're talking about? Yep,
Yeah.
I got that downloaded. 2.
Perfect. And then there's also we used to get what we called TMO reports, which were total market overview. Now that has changed to Area Pro. So all of our agents each get an account with Area Pro, and you can go on and find different marketing statistics for each area that we service. So if you were going on a listing presentation, you can go in and say, okay, show me the market statistics for Roseburg, because I am meeting with client in Roseburg, and it's going to show you all of this information as far as like closed units, closed volumes, listings taken, all of that. We also get really great market statistic updates from the state of the industry each month. So that's like tomorrow at 9 a.m., that virtual training that we all get invited to. Chris Suarez is leading it tomorrow. He's going to go over great market statistics, and then he takes it a step further and is like, what does this mean when you're talking to a client? What does this mean when you're going and talking to a buyer about what the market is and what their offer should look like? So it helps us learn the language of real estate, which is what they talk about, and really feel like the expert in those conversations. That way, because so many people commonly will say, oh, how's the market, when you're out there talking to people. And so it's nice to have something that's more educated than good, bad, a little slow, interest rates are high. These kind of conversations and training let you help you take it farther. Oh, good market, days on market have been going up a little bit, so buyers have had more negotiation power. Makes you sound a little bit different than all the other real estate agents. Market center value. So this is just kind of some of those things that are going to go that you each have. We kind of went through that mission, vision, values. We talked about the culture. We each have leadership teams in our own market centers, and then also as a network. So one of the values of being with the Keller Williams that you are is that not only do we have, your team leader, your principal brokers for your office, we also have some that oversee the entire network. And so it allows more minds to come together and participate in making sure we're bringing the best trainers, that we're bringing the best people are sitting in the right seats of the bus, right? We don't have a principal broker that's really good in compliance running the whole office, because that might not be their strength. We each also have ALC members in each of our office. So ALC stands for Agent Leadership Council, and those are all agents that have made their top 20% in production, and then they've also given a commitment to having an open door policy. So if you called any of them and asked questions, they'd be more than happy to help you, guide you to the right path, right, with whatever you're asking about. They all run committees. They will teach trainings. They should be like actively involved in the market center. And there's some in each different location. So it's nice because, if you're feeling more rural and out there, and that path is going to look different for you, there are ALC members that are also kind of in these smaller towns, or I think of Jessica from Southern Oregon. She's in a more rural setting, a little bit outside of the main beaten path. Like, her life and business is going to look different than someone maybe in Bedford or really in the center of Portland. So we get nice perspectives that way as well. Profit share and growth share. So these are passive income avenues. There's a whole class that we'll do that Jordan's going to teach on this. So that will be really great information that you guys gain. But we are a profit sharing company. So about 48% of the market center's profits each month do go back to agents. So that can be great. Any ahas or questions so far? I know I'm kind of like information dumping on you.
It's kind of a random question, but have they ever done studies on agents that go through the productivity coaching versus ones that don't, and how successful they are?
Yeah, so ones that don't, so I say out there in the real world, new agents their first year in the industry have an 87% failure rate. and most will go like 6+ months without getting into production. So with our new agent coaching program, over 90% are still in the industry a year later. So that's like one huge turnaround, right? And then majority of agents are finding someone that they're entering into contract with and starting to work with within that first 30 to 60 days. So we're cutting down that time by quite a substantial amount just by saying focus on the income producing activities. And that might seem like we're beating the same ball over and over again, right? But when we talk about making contacts or building out your database, building out your sphere, setting your goals, that's kind of part of that reason of why, is because we want there to be systems that are proven in place to kind of cut off some of that pain point of focusing too much on things that aren't getting us into production. These are also some of the KW resources or other like kind of cross companies that Gary Keller has built over the years. Some of these are available to us in Oregon, some are not. We also have like relationships locally that we've made. So for instance, there is Keller Mortgage. We used to hear about it a lot. We don't quite hear about it as much, but we have all partnered with like Envoy Mortgage. So they have great systems in place to service all of our agents and have different local lenders in each of our market centers. We also have the opportunity to join communities. So if any of these things are really a passion to you or an interest to you, KW International has communities for each of these things. So if you were like, oh, I'm really interested in land, or I'm really interested in serving people that are veterans or in the military, or new homes, you can join these communities through Keller Williams International. Some of them have young, like little fees, but then most of them have commingled. Like if you're in the luxury one, right, you're going to be joining the luxury hub. So you can get referrals, you can give referrals, you can learn about what's different for a luxury listing versus your standard single family house listing. Any of those tips, there's also some extra marketing that you will have access to for templates and stuff. So if any of these are of interest or passion for you, we can get you more information on those as well.
And if we are interested, like for me out where I live, it would be the land.
Yeah.
It's not additional training or licensing like through
Not
our
additional training or licensing required, but and you can like not be in this community and take a land listing, of course. But if you did, they might have some additional training that's specific just about land
Gotcha.
sales.
Okay. That would be interesting for me, I think.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so your vision, your future. Today is blank, so put a date 1 year from now. Your business is thriving and your life is everything you've dreamed of. Your customers rave about the experience and value you provide and think of you when they think of or when they have a real estate need. Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are consistently referring business your way. You are helping others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what they desire. You're building the foundation and momentum for your entire career and gaining relationships and experiences and the income you desire. You're the top agent in your market center or rookie of the year if you're new. You're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you take care of your 20% that grows your business. You are on the path to blank. So what else would be on this list if we were talking about what this vision for yourself would be in a year from now? So this is kind of part of that, starting to change your mindset, change the way that you think of things. You can refer to the participation guide that I emailed you. There's a page on here about visualizing a big future. Let me find which page it is. Okay, page 1-15. you can kind of write a little synopsis for yourself. And then on the following page, there's a page about your big life. So you're going to expand your thinking beyond 1 year. For example, what are you doing for the people you care about? What charities would you support? How would you make the lives of yourself and everyone around you better? For this next activity, take a few minutes to complete this chart in your participant guide. In the boxes around the middle, fill in the people and projects you care most about. Add more boxes if you need to. Sorry, I'm not really showing it. It should look like this. So this would be like Emily. She might have her kids. She might have some of her property, charity in there. We'll give you a few minutes to focus in on thinking about where you see yourself for your business.
You said it was on 1-15?
Yeah, 1-15 and 1-16.
Man, I don't see it on mine. I see the your vision, your future.
And that should be the next page.
Yeah, it's like got boxes with exclamation points in it. That's weird. Huh.
Let's see what I sent. I just
Oh.
printed from the same thing I sent you. Let's see.
That's weird. Yeah, your vision, your future. Today is 1 year from now, and then your big life. I wonder if it's a formatting thing. Let me reload it.
Your vision, your future. Yeah, I don't know. Are you in a PDF?
Well, I opened it with Google Docs. I'm thinking, oh, that's why. When I opened it with Google Docs, it completely.
Changed it.
Yep. Okay, I got it now.
Okay. Phew. I was like, oh, I'm not the
Nope,
best at
it's
technology.
just me.
Mysteries sometimes.
Right. Nope. There. I'm sorry. I was so focused on finding it. Can you explain again what you wanted?
Sorry, I had to call back another agent real quick. Okay, so on that page, you are going, oh, where did I set my? Fill in your name in the center, and then each one of these boxes stands for something that you care about in your life and want to make an impact with. So it says, this is activity on expanding your thinking beyond 1 year. So for example, what are you doing for the people you care about? What charities would you support? How would you make the lives of yourself and everyone around you better? For this next activity, take a few minutes to complete this chart in your participant guide. In the boxes around the middle, fill in the people and projects you care most about. Add more boxes if needed. Add an amount that you would like to spend on each one. For example, if you want to pay for both your children's college tuition or pay off your home or your car or donate money to a local soccer field. Finally, add up all the numbers along with what you need for your own lifestyle, debt, and investment, and write this amount in the middle box. Well, not your name in the middle box. That's what's going in the middle box. Don't limit yourself. Avoid thinking, I'll never be able to afford $120,000 in tuition. Just put what you desire to spend. Ignite's all about expanding those skills and habits so that you can get what you want.
So people and projects, and then the dollar amount to do
That you
those.
would want to spend for like something that you're wanting to do for them. So if you're wanting to like pay off debt or you have like a certain vision for your children, anything like that.
Gotcha.
Okay, how's that going?
For one of them, I put like looking into the future, like having kids, but I don't know
Yeah,
like a dollar amount. Like that could be unlimited.
it could be. Yeah. Is there, so if I phrase it this way, like say you were with your perfect partner and you were excited about having a child, is there some part of you that's like, oh, I'd really feel uncomfortable doing that if I didn't have X in place, or I didn't have like my bank account didn't look like this, or I wasn't maybe making X amount per month in order to feel like financially stable to bring children into the world?
Okay, that makes sense.
Someone the other day was joking, like, okay, each kid you have to sell 10 more houses because they're so expensive. And I was like, you're not wrong.
They say it's the $1 million investment.
Yeah. How's that coming?
I think I'm done.
I didn't know if you were on the phone or something.
Just
So
teaching.
I was like, I thought maybe you were talking to me.
No,
Okay.
you're good.
Yeah.
All right. So then part of that page goes down on the bottom and it talks about as you go through Ignite, looking for ways you're limiting your own success and removing the barriers you're putting in your way. Be especially aware of those limiting beliefs that you can creep in if you're not careful. Connect to your goals to push through to achieve your goals. So we really want to have an idea of like what drives us, what inspires us, why would we wake up and do something that might not sound super exciting that day, right? Like typically when we sit there and say, okay, make contacts, you need to lead generate, you need to actively search for business, those aren't always like the fun, sexy parts of being a real estate agent. And so we need to be motivated by something that's strong enough to push us through that, right? When before I had kids, and it wasn't like keeping stability and a roof over my kid's head, and it was having kids, I actually had to do fertility treatments for all of my children. And when we were on that path in the beginning, I remember my coach saying, like, okay, so you want to have a kid and it's going to cost you X amount of money to have a kid, right? If you wake up and you're not making your contacts, if you're not lead generating, then are you willing to not have a child because you can't afford it? And so that was kind of my big why in that moment. You each are going to have your own big why right now, and it might change over the years, right? Obviously, getting pregnant is not currently my big why. I do not want any more children. I am past that phase, but a certain future, certain stability is my big why now, right? Being able to provide for them. And that might look different. Some of us might have a specific vision for retirement or a specific goal for traveling or specific experiences that we want to have or certain lifestyle that we want to have. And so we need to be really aware of what that is. And that's going to be visualized differently. Sometimes people like having vision boards. Sometimes people like having it written, a big goal written somewhere in front of them. I like having some sort of vision, and that might be different for each of us. But you want some sort of constant reminder around where you're working of what that big why is so that when you're sitting there going, gosh, it's sunny out, I'd rather go to the lake than call these, than door knock around my open house or call my sphere and see if they know anyone that wants to buy real estate. It pushes us over that edge. So identifying right down in that below section of those little boxes, like what is that for you? Why are you here? What is driving you? Why would increasing your income potential matter to you? To achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it. Gary Keller said it much better in less words. I don't even know why I talk. I should just. Gary Keller quote. Wait one moment. Got it, okay. All right, so where do commission dollars go? So kind of understanding where our money goes when we make these sales. We talked about this a little bit yesterday with our 135 and goal setting. But it's important to kind of understand how these break out. What is happening? Oh, all the money was going away. So if you had a net income goal of 100,000, your company dollar and royalty cap here locally, it's different for Keller Williams across the state because it kind of has to do with your sales volume. So for instance, if you were with a Keller Williams in Seattle where their average price point is like $1 million, your commission cap would have been more than 12,000. So our company dollar and royalty cap is a total of 15,000. We then subtract our business expenses. So again, those will increase as more money you make. If you start hiring an assistant or a transaction coordinator, you're going to have higher business expenses than you do as an independent agent right now. So I think yesterday we had calculated this at like 4,800. It might be a little bit more than that depending on what your business models are. For instance, if you're farming and sending a bunch of mailers, that's going to cost more money for business expenses than calling your sphere, sending marketing emails to them because those are free. Total gross income. So that would, if you added A, B, and C, then that total number would be your total gross income. Your GCI is what you'll hear that called. You divide that by your average commission amount. 9,000 is about the number we used yesterday. We used 8,750. And then that tells you how many deals you would need to sell in order to hit that income goal. So you should have done that math yesterday, or maybe as homework, spent a little bit more time on it because we want you to be clear on what your transaction goal is.
Did you say the cap was 15?
It's because it's 12,000 for the 70/30 plus 3,000 for your royalty and franchise fee. So a
Okay.
total of 15.
Did that just go up recently?
No, it went down. It was like 20 and then it went down to 12 for the 70/30 split and then 3,000 for the royalty franchise fee.
Okay, I was thinking it was 9 and 3, so it was only 12,000 total.
No, 15,000 total.
Gotcha.
Yep. And you'll hit both of them because they happen kind of simultaneously. So about 4 or 5 sales, you'll hit both of them.
And just to make sure I had it written down. It's so much per, I can't find it. It's like 20% out of each transaction.
So it's a 70/30 split. So you'll do 7,000. If you had $10,000 commission, you'd keep 7,000. KW would take 3,000, and then that 30% or 1,000 is what caps at 12,000. And then your royalty or franchise fee is 6%, but that never exceeds 3,000.
Gotcha.
And then you'll have on top of, before those come out, you'll have your coaching fee for the 15% on the first 6. So it'll be, if you had $10,000 commission, really be like 15% would come out, then your 70/30 split comes. So you're not paying 30% on money you're not receiving.
Okay. I had a spreadsheet somewhere. Now I can't find it. I did it a while ago to see it, but I think that's what it was. I just can't find it at the moment.
Yeah. You got it. Okay, so then it creates a spot on here for you to do it yourself, I believe. Oh, I'm going backwards, I guess. I got out of order. But you will do these numbers. Do you need more time to circle in these numbers? If you feel like you already did it yesterday and you know what they are now? I don't want to go too fast, but I also don't want to spend too much time if you feel like you already did
I
it.
think you're good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Excellent. So, and then we already talked about this too yesterday, the 4 10s. So 10 conversations, 10 contacts, 10 handwritten notes, 10 house previews. And then this talks about the 10-5-1 social media engagement. So that's kind of putting that in place. I think they will. We already did this. One of the good things about your sphere that I didn't talk about yesterday is that people on average move every 7 to 10 years currently. So having them in that database for a long time, even if they, bought a house 2 or 3 years ago, you're still gonna be in business in 4 or 5 years. So keeping them on that drip campaign of that 36 touch. And then also watching for moves, indications of people making a move. So if they're having babies or getting married, that's kind of like one of those life events that typically will circle around buying a home either before or after. Same with having more children or children aging out of the home, so going off to college, they might want to downsize. Kids having grandkids or people having grandkids, they sometimes then want to move closer to the grandkids or change what their home style is. So these different things, getting divorced, changing jobs, those can be kind of key indicators that you might want to circle in on those people a little bit more, making sure that you're staying top of mind with them as they go through those changes. Practicing the Ford method when you're calling your sphere and having those conversations with them. So these are some of those questions that you can engage in asking them without it like fully being like, hey, do you want to sell real estate? So family, making sure you're asking questions about their family, about their job, about the hobbies that they have, and then their dreams, like so goals. All right. I think that covers, let me make sure I'm not missing anything big. Nope, I think that's pretty much what we cover for today. Any other questions or anything?
I have a question.
Go
So
for it.
talk about like door knocking for open houses. Like essentially, like could I go in my like if I think I have a lead on someone that may be moving or selling in my neighborhood, am I allowed to, is that a type of door knocking that I'm allowed to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Be-
Yeah.
Because I have
A great
I have a neighbor that's building a development, and then I know another neighbor down the way that they passed away and they were gonna be selling their place. So just things like that are in my neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely no limitations on going and creating relationships. So knocking on their door and just saying like, hey, I'm Mitch, I'm with Keller Williams, I'm a real estate agent. I actually live in your neighborhood, so I'm really familiar with the benefits of how great this neighborhood is. If you are looking for a market analysis or any way that I can assist in your real estate investments, I'd be happy to help. And just kind of opening up that door for that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, do it. It's not going to hurt you. I was telling someone the other day, I said, the worst thing that could happen is someone would tell you no. And if you don't have a conversation, you're not going to get it anyways.
Yeah.
So,
I think in my mind too, like I feel like I need to have like something to give them, and I don't have like business cards or anything yet. So like
yeah,
just I mean
that's,
I'm on day 2 now, so it's like just trying to get it like like those kind of things worked out and stuff like that.
yep, you'll get them very quickly. And your tech orientation will help kind of get you at least into command so you can log in, get those templates, order those cards. But it's a great way to say too, like, hey, let me send you some information. Like, what's a good email for you?
Yeah.
Do you have a dog?
Yeah. Me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I have 3.
go walk your dog. Be like, hey, I was just out walking my dog and I noticed this. I want to stop and introduce myself. I don't have any business cards on me. What's a good email I can send you some information to?
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. Like Diana, you'll hear Diana Kokoska used to be our head trainer for Keller Williams International, and she started her business. She was a mom, and she would pull her kids around the neighborhood in a red wagon and door knock and like make relationships because no one's mean to someone that has kids with them.
Yeah.
I designed my business cards in the Michael Lewis suite or whatever.
Michael Lewis Marketing Suite, yeah.
Yes. And then I held off printing them. And I'm glad I did because then my daughter went through Canva and copied something and they used your actual location, not the Hillsborough address. So I switched it and put where I am because I thought, well, that might be better because then it shows I'm local because there's a ton of houses for sale, but none of the agents are local. So I put where I was located instead of the Hillsborough office because I thought that might be better. So we'll see.
Yeah, you can have a different address as long as your logo matches back to your office. You're good.
Yep. And I sent it to Jen this morning just to make sure. I'm like, did I get it all? So yeah, I didn't know if I had to have the Hillsborough office or if I could just have my location. So
yeah, they removed it. Used to be like 2 or 3 years ago, it was a requirement that your office address was on your marketing, and now that is not a requirement because there's so many virtual offices that sometimes people don't have an office location that is like their office, and so it removed that requirement.
Perfect. Well, I'm hoping that the local, like, hey, I'm just down the road goes further.
Yeah, I think it will because people really like that.
Good.
Awesome, guys. Well, I will see you tomorrow for class intro. You'll have Kate teaching your next Ignite course, but I will give you some time back in your day today to continue growing your business.
Thank you.
Awesome,
And
Laura, thank you.
You said
Yeah.
she wouldn't mind if I'm in the car without my camera on?
No, I'll give her a heads up that that's your plan.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that's fine. We
Okay.
commonly have people on kind of living their life doing whatever, as long as you're getting content from it. You can unmute if you want to say something or ask a question, but yeah.
Perfect. I might lose service through part of it, but I'll click back on. So I'll do my best.
Okay, sounds good. No problem.
Thank you.
All right, have a great day.
Thanks. You too. Bye.